In 8th grade, section 11.1, we're dealing with angle and line relationships. So this is a little bit of what a little hint of what you might be dealing with when you start heading into geometry. So we're dealing with different types of angles. The first one is called vertical angles, and vertical angles are formed when you have two lines that intersect. So these intersect, and it creates these angles that are opposite to each other, that kind of mirror each other, and these are called vertical angles. So 1 is a vertical angle to 3, and 2 is a vertical angle to 4. Vertical angles are always the same. Because they do mirror each other, their angles are always the same. So if I have 1 is angle 2, then angle 3 would also, if I have 10 degrees for angle 1, then angle 3 is also 10 degrees. If I have 80 for angle 2, then angle 4 is also 80. And as you can see, they make a straight line with their neighboring angles. Anytime you see a straight line, automatically you're thinking 180 degrees. Same thing with all the angles of a triangle. Anytime you see a straight line, the angle should add up to 180 degrees. Adjacent angles are angles that share a side. So because this line is shared by angle 5 and angle 6, the angles are called adjacent. Okay, they're neighboring angles, so they're adjacent to each other. So angle 5 is adjacent to angle 6. Complementary angles, which I'm sure you've heard, are basically angles that add up to 90 degrees. Supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. Also, when you hear supplementary, you also think straight line. So supplementary, straight line. Complementary would be 90 degrees, so right angle, but anytime you see a straight line, you think 180 degrees. Perpendicular lines are lines that cross each other so to a point where they hit each other at a 90-degree angle. Now, these lines intersect, but perpendicular lines not only intersect, but they intersect at a 90-degree angle, making 4 90-degree angles, right? Because if this is a straight line and this is 90, then the other side is also 90 because it makes a straight line with that. Well, this side also makes a straight line with that, which is 90, and this side also makes a straight line with that, which is 90, so it makes 4 right angles. So that is what perpendicular, and here's a symbol for perpendicular. It's just a straight line and a straight line on the bottom. Okay, so this is telling me that line L is perpendicular to line M. I have another board before our example, so go ahead and write this down. Pause it, write it down, what you need. The next one we're dealing with is parallel lines, and in this case, it's the opposite of perpendicular. Perpendicular are lines that not only intersect, but intersect at a 90-degree angle. Well, parallel lines never intersect. They never touch each other because they're going at the same slope every time that they just keep going, they'll never intersect. So this is called parallel. And they show parallel lines by putting these arrows that tell you that this is parallel to this. Okay? When we have a parallel line, there's also this line R. The line S and T are parallel, and they show that they're parallel by this is the parallel sign right here. That's the parallel sign. But this line that crosses two parallel lines, this is called a transversal. So line R is what's called a transversal. There's something happens that with transversals, it creates common angles. What that means is, because this is going at the same angle, right? If I have a straight line that hits it both, then that means they have mirrored angles. So angle 1, whatever angle 1 is, angle 5 will mimic it because it's a top left corner and this is the top left corner of this line. This is called corresponding. Angle 1 and 5 are corresponding because they're the same position, different lines, and therefore they're always equal. Corresponding angles are always equal. Of course, you're dealing with parallel lines. Okay? So also 2 and 6 are corresponding. 4 and 8 are corresponding, 3 and 7 are corresponding. Now, alternate interior are also equal. So angle 4 equals angle 6. They're opposite side on the inside. So angles that are opposite sides, so 4 and 6 are on the opposite sides of this transversal, but they're on the inside. These are mirrored, so they are equal to each other. Alternate exterior is same thing, opposite but on the outside. So we're dealing with 8 and 2 are equal to each other, so 1 and 7. So there's lots of options here. This is 4 and 6 alternate, 5 and 3 is alternate, 1 and 7, 1 equals 7. And we also have 2 equals 8. This one is 5 equals 3. So these are all, I know, I put this here. This is supposed to be 1 equals 5. You know, and we have 2 equals 6. These are supposed to be angles, by the way. Sorry if I'm messing you up. Angle 1 equals angle 8, and angle 3, no, what is it? One angle 4 equals angle 8, and angle 3 equals angle 7, right? So these are always equal. And again, the reason why they're equal is because you have these two parallel lines, and then you have a transversal that sticks through them. So, for example, for your example problem, it says angles DEF and WXY are complementary angles with measure of angle DEF equals 2x and y. So we have two angles, DEF, and when we're naming angles here, that middle one is always the vertex. So I can't name it, I can't put E here, it has to be in the middle. I can switch D and F, but E has to be here. And then I have WXY, okay, is here. So we have, this is 2x, and this is 3x minus 20. Okay, and they want us to find the measure of each angle. Now, I don't know how to find each measure yet, but I do know that the hint they give me is complementary. And if you look back from the last board, complementary means that they add up to 90 degrees. So I know that these two angles together added equals 90. So 2x plus 3x minus 20 equals 90. Now combine like terms and solve. 2x plus 3x is 5x minus 20 equals 90. And then I'm going to do plus 20 to both sides. 5x equals 110. So I believe that's 22, sorry. So x equals 22. It's not asking us for x, however. It's asking us to find the measure of each angle. Please read the question carefully. So, and I'm not looking for x. I'm looking for each angle. So if angle DEF equals 2x, and I'm going to do 2 times 22, which gives me 44 degrees. That's my first answer. The next one is WXY equals 3 times 22 minus 20, which would be 66 minus 20, which would give me 46 degrees. Now I have to check that. Does that give me 90? 44 plus 46 does give me 90. So it's a good way to check to see whether I'm right or wrong. So sorry about that. This is my first step, and this is my second and third step. Right? So go ahead and write that down. We're going to do page 622, numbers 1, 4, and 9. 622, number 1, 4, and 9, sorry. And I will see you in class.